Hey there, mini wargamers. All right, some predictions for 2025. A little background outlook. We'll talk general market, BattleTech and CGL, of course. We'll talk everything Mantic, and then I'll give you a little what I'm most excited for. So, you know, market-wise, we're kind of directionality unchanged, but maybe a little bit muted is the right way to say it, because we've got some new waves happening. So Wall Street will continue to gain, maybe kind of returning more to historic norms, 10 to 15% instead of the 23 or 30% that we had last year, which is crazy. Main Street is continuing to sideways or, you know, have the challenges that it has. Why? Without getting too political, it's kind of a leadership and cooperation vacuum. You know, international shipping is going to remain a mess. We're going to have these trade tensions really impacting retail late 2025. Some industries have already calculated for this. Smart tabletop players are going to bake both of these things into their Kickstarters and other ventures. And yeah, I mean, we're just talking here higher priced goods, right? So for the inelastic goods, we still buy them, which means we have less money to spend on our elastic goods, and that means we get choosier. So the tabletop gaming industry, maybe flat to just a slight growth, I think was what's going to happen here. So probably definitely less growth than 2024. So yeah, and it's always good to look at the big players. These are good indicators, right? So Hasbro with D&D and Magic the Gathering, I think D&D is flat to slight down. I think Magic the Gathering, it could break out if it's got the right IPs for its Worlds Beyond. Maybe it does another Lord of the Rings. It could be much bigger than I'm kind of forecasting here, but it, you know, across the slight up is not a bad guess. D&D, man, look at the YouTube community right now. A lot of that's with what YouTube is doing on the algorithm space, but also, you know, it's just kind of the sunset of 5e. It's this new move by WotC Hasbro into the digital space. I think it's not gonna, this new version of D&D, what is it? It's like an errata practically on top of 5e, a 5.5, whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be as lasting and as big as Dungeons & Dragons wants. Probably takes a full nother version, a 6e, to bring the arrow back in a different direction. But let's talk the big bad behemoth, the workshop. Yeah, 40K is going to do amazing this year. And why? We're entering the year still with the highs of Space Marine 2, a little bit of secret level noise as well too. But mostly what you could have happen here in 2025 and is likely is the TV show lands later in the year, and just the halo effect off of that is going to be huge for 40K and the mini wargaming hobby in general. If GW has a strategically synergized product ready to soak up that demand and those eyeballs, especially just something small out there in Target and then maybe a bigger one in the game stores, could be rocket boosters. So they're going to do okay, right? The big players are going to do okay for 2025. What about our other players? What about our smaller IPs? Still pretty shiny and sparkly, that Gundam Assembled and Halo Flashpoint, or our homegrown darlings like Trench Crusade. Really kind of the new hotness or your favorite game. They're going to do what they always do every year, which is pick up some of our fandom dollars, but not be as market impacting. They're not widely market impacting, right? You'll see them occasionally at retail, but they're not the big players, right? But I think these are all going to be good things in 2025. 3D printing is going to continue to influence things and push things a bit. You're seeing people like Blacksite Studio and Mantic really embrace it, offering STL level only pledges is definitely a thing now. We're seeing tons of Kickstarters do that. And speaking of Kickstarters, though, crowdfunding, the golden age of crowdfunding is kind of coming to an end. There's just less deals to be had now. It used to be like the crowdfunding was a little bit of a loss leader for a minis game maker. You get an amazing deal. Now, just with the trade and logistics issues, and there are less sweet deals out there. And also, I think there's a little bit more dependence and maybe kind of just expectations on the corporate side that are causing this to be less good in Kickstarter land. So consumers are going to remain choosy in 2025. We have a rising game and hobby prices, along with rising prices in general, though inflation is going to be cooled and tampered. And we had, again, amazing economy, but maybe not felt that so much on Main Street. This is increased pressure on small and medium corporations and creators. There's probably less small fish, or it's harder for the small fish. The bigger fish are doing okay. We're seeing this dominance of IP, right? Which is why Magic the Gathering is in the right space. It's why the kind of IP push that Games Workshop has is great. It's why a lot of things are happening. Yeah, it looks like 2024 with weaker growth, right? So that's what we've got in the market side. Let's talk BattleTech. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know how to feel about this. There's probably not a lot of surprises left in Catalyst Quiver coming at us from the BattleTech side. We know Mercs is going to fulfill, and it's fulfilling bumpily here at the end. They're giving things to reach out channels. That's great. I talk about how this is probably a peak in BattleTech right now, forming. I think there will be still a few new flavorful force packs out there coming. Those will be the surprises. I don't know what they may be, but there's probably a few. Aces is going to be great late in Q2. Q3 is my prediction. Demand for BattleTech is going to remain strong, right? You're going to see these things hit retail shelves and also online retail. They'll be at good prices and they will sell out. That's your forecast for BattleTech. So if there's something out there on your wish list that you want, I would recommend buying it, or you're going to have to wait a long time. Why? Because if you had something on your wish list that you've been waiting for a restock for, you're going to find that you're waiting for a long time for Catalyst to do this usually. They're a little bit better on the plastic force packs, at least right now, past 2-3 years they have been. For books though, oh boy, if you're waiting for rules books, don't hold your breath, right? Does the Ill Clan era really catch fire and take off? No, I think it's like a small campfire or a smolder going right now. I think what would have really made it is if Catalyst had the production muscle and coordination to land aces at the same time as hinterlands and right? Having those synergies, like maybe GW does with 40K, if you've got that synergy and that market saturation where you're getting eyeballs from a video game, eyeballs from a TV show, eyeballs on the retail shelves, then you're breaking through and you're getting dollars from people's wallets. But I don't think the era itself is really going to, how did I think about this? I think it's going to do well, but I think there's still just a lot of still nostalgia pulls BattleTech around a lot still. CGL overall, they kind of have an expansion mindset. They've got a wide focus, though there is focus on BattleTech, obviously, and maintaining it as a flagship for them. They're branching out into RPGs, partnering with new people, and they're Kickstarter dependent. So we'll talk about this little block of the company. We will compare and contrast that to Mantic shortly. I'm going to riff through Mantic now as well. Most of these are just kind of predictions for me of what I see coming from Mantic, and how I think they're positioned. I'm going to do this quickly. So Armada is going to continue to slowly sail into the sunset. Dead Zone and Firefight, they stay the course. Maybe they have a rules update. I actually don't think Rebs is coming this year. I'm happy to be surprised, though. I will gobble it up, Mantic, if he put it out there, but I doubt it. Epic Warpath lands in backers' hands here, middle of the year. It's niche, great, but it stays niche and small. Kings of War and Ambush, they do the same thing that Dead Zone and Firefight does, and Mantic supports them in kind of the way they did last year as well, which is some small releases and updates to rule set. Kings of War Vanguard, I can't make heads or tail of what that really was. They offered some STLs in my mini factory and kind of blew the Vanguard trumpet a little. It's a game, it's here. I don't really know. I don't think they're more serious about it than that. Here, have some alternate models that you can stuff in your Kings of War stuff. Walking Dead, the zombie limps along. Zombie, I'm not using in a negative way. It's just, they did this massive reprint of things. It's a great game. I don't expect there's much coming for Walking Dead this year either. The Vault remains this sweet, sweet gravy on top of our Mantic mashed potatoes. They're going to have to manage it carefully, though. As they do more My Mini Factory projects, as well as STL offerings on Kickstarter, the message becomes a little less clear of what you get as a Vault subscriber, right? It's a little bit more of a surprise. And I think there was 1 month, at least last year, where I was kind of scratching my head wondering if I got my $14, $15, $16 worth of STLs. I also kind of wonder, are they getting to the tail end of what minis they can put up there? Interesting. I could see Epic Warpath going there. End of the year? Nah, probably not in 2025, but it'd probably come in 2026 or later. Maybe some alternate models or something they might deliver to Epic Warpath there. That would be cool. And now, so that list there are kind of their in-house IPs and things, mostly. Let's talk now about newness. So Halo, obviously, the big badness in the room, they're going to bring the big bad brutes, and Covenant, they're going to be their focus. I think it's going to culminate into some sort of a new box set offering at retail later in 2025, where they package up all the rules of RADA, all the It's not necessarily a 2.0 for Halo, but it's just some other... They're moving towards the army building stuff. That's kind of what they're broadcasting, right? I think there's going to be something packaged around that. And I think overall, Halo is going to be in a cool spot by the end of 2025. It'll be refined and really humming and probably at one of its bests. So if you haven't gotten into Halo yet, you could probably wait a little bit and get it at a really good offering later in the year, or come on, be honest, you just want to grab a Spartan box set anyhow and chuck some dice around. It's pretty fun. I played it with my sons over Christmas. Assassin's Creed, a new IP arrow in the Mantic quiver. Holy cow. I'm betting this is a co-op or a hidden movement board game. It'll definitely have a Kickstarter. It's going to be single post plastics. I think it's going to maybe be a one and done, or like, here is a board game of Assassin's Creed in this setting, fight these bad guys, and then they'll go on and do another box set a box offering a game that'll stand by itself. I can't see this being a mini war game at all. I think it'll be cool. That said, I'm probably not going to get it. I'm not that big of an Assassin's Creed fan. Unless you went, here's a Assassin's Creed Odyssey exploration game with all these ancient Greek minis, then I would get it. But I think I'm in a very, very small minority of Assassin's Creed folks that would want that. Dreadball All-Stars. It seems likely that what happens here is they just absorb the Overdrive miniatures and probably do a small Kickstarter for it. Oh, I said that wrapped up the Mantic IPs. This is a Mantic IP as well too, but it's on the new side of things, right? I think it just gets its typical Dreadball support. Loved by Dreadball fans, never really like a raging hit and something that Mantic puts a ton of effort and weight behind, though it's still really dang good. That seems to be what's coming there. Kings of War Champions. What the heck? I thought my question mark here, I thought this was what Vanguard was going to turn into. It seems more likely that maybe it's in the ambush spot, because they're saying it's going to be rank and flank, but smaller. Really weird. It'll have a Kickstarter. I'm interested, Mantic. I'm very interested. What are you doing in this space? You have my attention. My Wishcast Warpath spaceship game, nah, it's not going to happen this year. Probably, maybe 2026. I think GW is likely to do Battlefleet Gothic before Mantic can ever get a spaceship game out. So this is just too much on Mantic's plate to focus on. And how is Mantic geared, right? They're actually have a little bit more cautious mindset. They're focusing on those IPs, and they're just doing their tried and true path with their internal IPs, their homegrown IPs, and they are Kickstarter dependent. So let's do this compare and contrast now of two of my favorite game companies or IP holders. We've got Catalyst Game Labs with an expansion mindset, wider focus, and Kickstarter dependence. And really, I've talked about this a little bit more. Like, Catalyst is really trying to find new winners, new hotness, they would love a new flagship to have alongside BattleTech. And so they're doing a little bit of throw the spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, what can they make happen. Mantic, on the other hand, has the hot IPs in their hand now, and they're going to support them and drive them to market and focus on that. Unfortunately, it means both companies are doing exactly opposite of what I want them to do. I love Mantic's homegrown IPs. I love BattleTech. So they're focused exactly in the opposite spaces. And if I think about that and do a little self-analysis, well, I'm an existing customer. See, they're probably focused more on the growth end of things because things are tough right now. They need new customer. And so that's how I explain that, of where companies are positioned, who's got the right communication, who's got the right muscle to really succeed in 2025. My bet would be on Mantic. Catalyst will do fine. BattleTech is going to sell great. But I think by the end of 2025 and maybe into 2026, they might go through a little consolidation, refactoring. They might burp. And it'll be interesting to see in what form that takes. I have some thoughts. Yeah. All right, so what am I looking forward to most in 2025? Personally, I've got two Kickstarters that are coming to me. I got that hot epic Warpath, and the tripods are returning with All Quiet on the Martian Front from Abby Normal. Those are smaller scale mini war games, which I've been starting to get into, primarily from actually an echo from BattleTech, making me buy a lot of smaller scale buildings. So it's cool. Hobby projects, I got all these things here. Live games, I've got Halo and Firefight, and Free Blades is live too. But Uncharted Seas, Vor the Maelstrom, and Relics are quote unquote dead. But I got kind of this penchant for older school medals going on right now that I'm working through. Growing my collection, I'm definitely going to pick up the NAM 68 rule set from Plastic Soldier Company. Kings of War Champions, if you've got goblins, come on, you're gonna have goblins. You've got my Kickstarter dollars, Mantic. Probably one of the few Kickstarters I support in 2025. I think I did 2 or 3 last year. I'm probably looking at 1 or 2 in 2025. BattleTech Aces, of course, I'm excited for it to come. And then Osprey rules or other indie rules, I'll probably pick up as they come across my bow. We'll be playing Dead Zone, more Halo. I'm trying to get those Uncharted Seas fleets down to the table so my family and I can shoot cannonballs and cast spells at one another. And then solo, again, NAM 68, probably do maybe either Vietnam, Cold War, or Stargrunt 2. I'm not sure. And that's kind of what my hobby year is looking like. Might talk a little bit more about getting joy from the wargaming. Also, if you like kind of market analysis stuff like this, or want to see why I'm calling a peak to kind of the BattleTech era that we're in right now, I've got a video on that I'll link on the screen. And I really appreciate y'all. Have a great one. Catch you later. Bye-bye.